I'm here at the intersection of Blackburn Road and 34th Ave Southeast, the center of Calgary, at least by one definition. You've heard of the middle of nowhere before, but geography and cartography have an even more interesting philosophical question, which is, where is the middle of somewhere? It turns out that finding the middle of some place isn't actually that straightforward. It's a lot more complicated than is intuitively apparent. This is because geography, both natural and political, tends to be made of very strange shapes. So to illustrate all of this, we're going to be using my hometown of Calgary, Alberta. Being located out on the plains, Calgary doesn't have many natural barriers that define the shape of the city. The largest element to define Calgary's city limits is political, the boundary of the Tsuut'ina Nation. With few geographical elements defining its boundaries, Calgary ends up having a lot of right angles. So in attempting to answer what is the middle of Calgary, you come up with multiple different answers depending on what paradigm you use to try to define that. Those definitions can be geometric, or they can be themselves political or cultural. I'm here at the intersection of 34th Ave Southeast and Blackburn Road, the center of Calgary, at least by one definition. This definition involves inscribing a circle around the city limits and then finding the center of that circle. The vernacular center of Calgary would be here at the foot of the Calgary Tower, a deliberate symbol to construct the center of the city. The coordinate system will bring you here out onto the Center Street Bridge, where Center Street divides east from west and the Bow River divides north from south. The intersection between the midpoint of longitude and the midpoint of latitude will bring you to this intersection in Upper Mount Royal. It's raining and I have a very expensive camera. Probably the strangest definition of the middle, and the one that I am particularly favorable towards, is what's called the pole of inaccessibility. This is a point that is defined by its distance from the border. So it's not the middle of the shape, it's the point that is farthest from the edge. Calculating the pole of inaccessibility is actually pretty straightforward. You just take the shape of the city limits and reduce that shape by a fixed amount in stages until it converges on a single point. But we can go one step further than that and look for the point that is not just the farthest from the edge of Calgary, but also the midpoint between its vertical extremes. Now, the highest point in Calgary is Top Hill at 1,298 meters, and its lowest point is the Shepherd Outflow at 967 meters, which means that the midpoint that we're looking for is around 1,132 meters in elevation. Now, this is not a guarantee in any way that the midpoint of Calgary's elevation is itself going to fall anywhere near the pole of inaccessibility, but it just so happens that we got lucky. So here it is. This unassuming green space is not only the pole of inaccessibility for Calgary, Alberta, but it also sits at the midpoint between the highest and lowest elevations. This park is the most inside Calgary you can be.